Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to another edition of Getting Scott Headed, our video rant series where I rant about a different movie, TV, entertainment, or pop culture related topic. Today I am ranting about why sci-fi shows keep failing. So today we got the news that the latest sci-fi original shows, Deadly Class and Happy, have been canceled. Happy only got 2 seasons. Deadly Class only got 1 before Syfy has decided to cancel them, which we learned today. And these two join a now starting to grow long list of sci-fi originals that have not made it very far. Earlier this year, well, end of last year, we had Night Flyers, which was a sci-fi original, which also made it to Netflix. So if you're not in the US, it was a Netflix original for everywhere else. But in the US, it was a sci-fi original. Syfy was the one who put the money down on that George R. R. Martin one, and that was canceled almost immediately after it was released. It did not have the fanfare they were hoping for, and so this joins that. They canceled Z Nation last year, which was actually a longer running show, but they canceled it almost out of nowhere. And I think they're all related. And I think Syfy is missing something, which is, you guys are a TV channel. Which I get means you're supposed to make TV shows. But if you're only letting people in the US watch these shows for the first couple months, maybe that's why they're not catching on as quickly. And so what I mean by this is Syfy has this very, I don't want to say unique, but a particular strategy when it comes to releasing their TV shows, which is obviously they release it on Syfy, the channel, and they have their own website where you can also watch the sci-fi originals and different shows that are on Syfy. But if you're not in the US, you don't have access to Syfy unless you pay for it via your cable subscription, which is like an extra add-on because Syfy is a specialty channel. And so that being said, they fall into this really small niche, very, very small niche, which means they're not like Fox or, ABC, who are actually getting millions of views every day, tens of millions of people watching every single day. Syfy is a smaller channel. It's really small, and they decided, we're gonna not let anybody in the rest of the world watch this for the first few months because we're gonna sell the rights to Netflix to release it to the rest of the world, which you would think I'd be happy about, and I am mostly happy about that. I love that we get these sci-fi shows eventually on Netflix, or at least here in Canada, Netflix Canada, we will get them eventually. But the one problem with that is that makes it a lot harder for there to be some momentum behind these shows. And that's the reason I say that is so let's take Deadly Class, for example. I watched the first episode because I was able to find it online for free and streaming in Canada. But after the first episode, you couldn't get any of the other episodes available to you in Canada unless you, like I said, paid for a cable subscription, which you also then paid for Syfy to be added onto your cable subscription, because it's not part of the basic packages that I'm aware of. I don't have basic cable, so that's where I fall into this weird thing where it's like, yeah, I like that they have this deal with Netflix, but it makes all your shows automatically like a little delayed, because if you want them to gain popularity on Netflix, that takes time. That rarely ever happens when something immediately hits Netflix. Like, even when we get some big build up leading up to these things, there's very few shows on Netflix that really explode into pop culture. So the fact that this niche TV channel of Syfy keeps making niche TV shows, which I love, I do love them all, and if they let me have Syfy, like if I could pay like an extra $3 to have all Syfy stuff added on my Crave TV, I would do that. Or even on my Amazon. That might be available now. Amazon does have channels available in Canada. That's a different video. The point is that Syfy is making it just a little too hard for us Canadians to be able to watch it until it comes to Netflix or one of the other streaming services in Canada. And so by them doing that, it makes it harder for these shows to pop. Like, there's a reason that their 3 latest original shows pretty much haven't caught on, and that's because nowadays everybody's waiting for them to come to Netflix, or waiting to get to them instead of watching it on TV. It's not like there's very few things that are appointment television anymore. Game of Thrones just ended, so that was one of the very last TV shows that millions of people sat down every Sunday to watch. And I think they're putting big budgets into these shows, which make them look great, but they're also they're not giving them enough chance to find an audience, because they give them 1 season and they're like, oh, not enough people watched it on TV, and it's like, well, not everyone's going to watch it on TV anymore. And so this is why I think all these sci-fi shows keep failing, that they haven't quite learned how to like give it to everybody. They haven't picked a strategy is what it comes down to. They haven't picked whether they want to focus only on giving things via TV, and if they only want to do that, they should not be licensing everything out to Netflix, because yes, that helps garner build a fan base, and they're hoping that fan base, we discover the first season, we're going to watch the second season. But they forget this thing, which is, if I watch a show on Netflix, I'm just going to wait for the next season to get added to Netflix to watch it, as opposed to trying to then find it. Or that's how most people do. I would personally try to find it, and like I said, I tried to find Deadly Class. They gave me one episode, and the rest, like I said, you had to be subscribed, you had to be in the US in order to watch it during the first month or two that it was out. And so I think they need to either decide, are we going to make things that are going to be discovered on Netflix, and that's where we want to make our money, is keeping pretty much making TV shows, putting it on our channel, then just making the money off of it in Netflix and hoping that's where it gets the build up, because there's plenty of shows that have done that. That's how Breaking Bad got popular. Breaking Bad had 3 seasons out before everybody in pop culture and the mass media decided to pay attention to it, and that's because we all caught up on it on Netflix back in the day. And so I think they're a little too divided on this strategy. They want to still be the destination spot for this niche programming, the sci-fi programming, which they are, but it's still a small niche. Even though niches are huge nowadays, it's still a very small niche. People who like sci-fi originals. And I keep saying, I've said sci-fi a lot of times, and some people might be confused. I'm talking about SYFY, the TV channel, when I say sci-fi, because they have to spell it weirdly because they're a TV channel. But yeah, that's my general rant about why I think these sci-fi shows keep failing, and why I think sci-fi is just gonna pick one strategy, whether they're gonna make shows for Netflix or whether they want to make shows for TV, because trying to do a little bit of both, I think, is why these shows keep failing. But yeah, that's all my thoughts. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you think about why these sci-fi shows keep failing. Have you even heard or seen any of the ones I mentioned? I might even miss some. I don't keep up with everything. But yes, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.